everyone, welcome back to GK Today. I am Sana and in this video we'll cover the current affairs. Before we move ahead, let me inform you that these questions are part of our daily 20 MCQ series 2022 in the GK Today's Android application. So if you are looking for the text version of these questions and their explanations along with the interactive quiz, you may consider joining our daily 20 MCQ series in the GK Today Android application. In this course in app, you get daily 20 MCQs, a fortnightly quiz, a monthly revision document, and also category-wise revision e-books that are optimized for reading on mobile. You are also able to access all archives of questions from January 2020 onwards. And let me tell you one more thing. If you want the Hindi version of this session, you can refer to our former channel named as GK Today. The link has been given in the description box from where you can reach to. So without taking much of your time, let's get started. Good morning everyone. Welcome back to GK Today. And today we'll be discussing most important MCQs for 21st of April 2022. Let's start. Samia Suluhu Hassan, who was seen in the news recently, is the first female president of which country? So she is the first female president of Tanzania, which is the largest country in East Africa region, and also this country is known for the Kilimanjaro National Park. So currently she is the only female head of government in Africa. So why she is in news? Because recently she met Kamala Harris, who is the first woman of color to be vice president of US. And this meeting is now expected to pull more investors towards Tanzania. And unlike the previous president, Samia Hassan encouraged the COVID vaccinations by publicly taking the shot herself. Okay. Now let's see some of the important current affairs. Which state or union territory celebrated its first ever beach festival IC Pondi 2022? Answer is Puducherry. So this is the Puducherry's first ever beach festival that has been celebrated on different beaches. Which is the first state to develop migration tracking system, that is MTS application? This state is Maharashtra, and this application has been developed to trace the movement of migrant workers basically. Okay. Which organization manufactured the Dornier 228 aircraft, which is the first made in India commercial plane of Alliance Air? Answer is Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. Also do remember that HAL has recently given the first set of Gaganyaan hardware to the ISRO. Who is the first Indian cricketer to hit the 10,000 runs in T20 cricket for men? Answer is Rohit Sharma. Who is the first recipient of the Lata Dinanath Mangeshkar Award? This award has recently been introduced, and the first awardee of Lata Dinanath Mangeshkar Award is our Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Which is the first country to recognize the legal rights of individual wild animals? This country is Ecuador. Also do remember that the first wildlife bond has recently been issued by the World Bank to save the African black rhino. Okay, so who has introduced this? Do remember that this is World Bank. Which is the first Hindi novel to be shortlisted for the International Booker Prize? The name of this novel is Tomb of Sand. Can you tell me who's the author of this particular book? Do let me know in the comments. And also don't forget to tell me who's the translator as well. Okay. Do remember that Coda has recently won the Oscar Prize for Best Picture. Okay. Next question. When is the World Hemophilia Day observed across the world? So World Hemophilia Day, which is marked on 17th of April annually, is dedicated to raising awareness about hemophilia and various types of other inherited bleeding disorders. Actually, hemophilia is a kind of inherited genetic disorder in which the blood's capacity to clot is substantially impaired, causing one to bleed excessively even from minor injuries. So the World Federation of Hemophilia began observing this day since 1989 to honor the WFH founder Frank's birthday. Fine. Now let's see some of the important days and themes. What is the theme of the World Heritage Day 2022? Actually, this day is celebrated on 18th of April every year to raise awareness and take up the ways to preserve our cultural heritage. And also it is known as the International Day for Monuments and Sites. So this year the theme was Heritage and Climate. Actually in India there are 40 UNESCO recognized World Heritage Sites, and the most recent addition to India's World Heritage Sites are Jaipur city and the Harappan site of Dholavira. Dholavira lies in the state of Gujarat. What is the theme of the National Fire Service Day 2022? This day is observed on 14th of April, and this year theme was Learn Fire Safety, Increase Productivity. Okay. What is the theme of the Sabka Vikas Mahaquiz conducted by my government? So this initiative has been taken to increase the public awareness regarding various schemes and also to include the public in the good governance thing. Okay. So the theme was Atmanirbhar Bharat. Okay. What is the theme of the Earth Hour in 2022? Actually, this is celebrated on last Saturday of March, and this year it falls on 26th of March. And the theme for 2022 is Shape Our Future. What is the theme of the International Day of Forest 2022? It is observed on 21st of March, and theme is Forest and Sustainable Production and Consumption. Okay. Which is the theme state of the 35th Suraj Kund International Craft Mela 2022. First of all, this Mela was organized at Faridabad in the state of Haryana, and the theme state that was chosen for this Mela is Jammu and Kashmir. What is the theme of the World Consumer Rights Day 2022? It is celebrated on 15th of March, and theme is Fair Digital Finance. Fine. Next question. Which country designates the countries as the state sponsor of terrorism based on their support to acts of terrorism? So basically, US Secretary of State has the power to designate the countries that have repeatedly provided support for the act of international terrorism as the state sponsors of terrorism. Okay. So Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has asked the US President Joe Biden to designate Russia as a state sponsor of terrorism, and as of now there are 4 countries on the list of state sponsor of terrorism. Which are these 4 countries? First is Syria, second is Iran, third is North Korea, and fourth is Cuba. Now Ukraine wants Russia to be in this list. Okay. Now let's see some of the important international current affairs. Jam monuments which were seen in the news recently are located in which country? Actually, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the General Secretary of the Communist Party of Vietnam complimented each other on the 50th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between India and Vietnam. So Prime Minister Modi highlighted about India's involvement in the restoration of Jam monuments that lies in Vietnam. So leaders also agreed to enhance the defense partnership between the 2 countries. Okay. So correct answer would be Vietnam. Which country has signed a deal with Rwanda to relocate the asylum seekers? Answer is UK. Which country designate countries as state sponsor of tourism? Just we have talked about it. Answer is USA. Pravind Kumar Jagannath, who was seen in the news, is the Prime Minister of which country? So he is the Prime Minister of the country Mauritius, and recently he was accompanied by a high-level delegation arrived in India at the invitation of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So he is set to participate in the groundbreaking ceremony of the World Health Organization Global Center for Traditional Medicine in Jamnagar and the Global Ayush Investment and Innovation Summit to be held in Gandhinagar. Okay. Which country is the host of International Water Week Water Convention 2022? So Director General of National Mission for Clean Ganga, participated virtually in the Singapore International Water Week. And he gave a presentation on status of wastewater generation, treatment and management in India. So in the second part of the session, panelists from other developing as well as developed countries shared their experiences, challenges and the best practices adopted in the sector. Okay, so do remember that the host of this event is Singapore. Which country supplies S-400 air defense missile system to India? Correct answer is Russia. We have discussed about this question in the previous lecture. Shenzhou 13 is the longest crewed space mission of which country? This is the mission of China. Okay. Next question. The Foreign Exchange Management Act, that is FEMA rules, have been amended to allow the -% of FDI in LIC. So the government has amended the rules of FEMA, paving the way for up to 20% FDI in LIC now. So the government is planning to dilute its stake in LIC through the initial public offering, and after the cabinet approval, the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade amended the FDI policy to facilitate overseas investment in LIC. Okay, and SEBI has also given approval to the draft papers of LIC. Okay, now let's see some of the important bills and acts. Poison bill, which was seen in the news recently, is associated with which field? Actually, in the field of finance related to merger and acquisition, limited duration shareholder rights plan is also known as poison bill. Okay, so recently what happened is, in response to Elon Musk takeover bid, Twitter has adopted the poison bill, which allows the existing shareholders to purchase freshly issued shares in the company at a discount to the trading price. So this will in turn make buyout plan extremely expensive and complicated. Okay, so this bill is related to acquisition of company. Okay, which country has announced a $51 billion external debt default? This country is Sri Lanka. Who topped the Forbes 36th annual World's Billionaire list of 2022? This is the founder of Tesla and CEO of SpaceX, Elon Musk. Which Union ministry is associated with the Criminal Procedure Identification Bill 2022 that was passed recently? Answer is Ministry of Home Affairs. How many Indians feature in the Forbes Billionaire list 2022? So total 166 billionaires were featured in this list from India. Which Indian billionaire topped the Huron richest self-made woman in the world 2022 in the country? So basically 3 Indian women were featured in this list. First was Falguni Nair from Nykaa. Second is Kiran Mazumdar Shaw, and third is Radha Vembu. Right? Which state passed a bill seeking to regulate the stray cattle in the urban areas of the state? Correct answer is Gujarat. Next question. Which country has signed a deal with Rwanda to relocate the asylum seekers? So the UK signed a deal with Rwanda to send some asylum seekers to the East Africa country to eliminate human trafficking. So Prime Minister Boris Johnson said that anyone entering the UK illegally may now be relocated to Rwanda. And the United Nations said that the deal raised several human rights concerns. And as part of the pilot scheme, the UK paid the Rwanda 120 million euros for housing and integrating the migrants. Okay. Now let's see some of the important MOUs and agreements. State-owned NHPC signed a memorandum of understanding with which state for development of green hydrogen? Answer is Himachal Pradesh. India signed a new space situational awareness arrangement with which country? This is USA. According to the SEBI order, who among the following has recently resigned from the position of director from 2 companies, namely Reliance Power and Reliance Infrastructure? Actually, Anil Ambani was the director in Reliance Power and in Reliance Infrastructure, but now he has recently resigned. Which bank signed partial guarantee pact with ADB to support the supply chain financing? This is Axis Bank. And talking about Axis Bank, do remember that two banks have recently been penalized by RBI with 93 lakh rupees each. Which are these two banks? First is obviously Axis Bank and second is IDBI Bank. Okay. Which Indian state signed a pact with WWF India to develop the state biodiversity strategy and action plan? This is Arunachal Pradesh. India signed a memorandum of understanding with which country to set up Maritime Rescue Coordination Center. So this is to be set up in Moscow, and hence India has signed this deal with Sri Lanka. Next question. Which global payments company is associated with the world's first crypto-backed payment card? So crypto lender Nexo has partnered with the global payments company MasterCard to launch the world's first crypto-backed payment card. And this card, which is available in selected European countries initially, it now allows the users to spend without having to sell their digital asset such as Bitcoin. And the card can be used at 92 million merchants worldwide where MasterCard is accepted, and it allows the investors to spend up to 90% of the value of their crypto asset. Okay. Now let's see some of the important companies that were in news. Reckitt Benckiser Healthcare India has sold the Dermicool to which consumer products company? So recently it has sold the Dermicool to Imami. Project Kuiper is a proposed project of which multinational technology company? So Project Kuiper is related to Amazon. Wagner Group is a private military company of which country? So Wagner Group is a private military company of Russia, and recently it was seen in Ukraine. Which Indian company has partnered with Canada's largest payment organization called Payments Canada? So Tata Consultancy Services has partnered with Payments Canada. Which state-run company has partnered with Larsen & Toubro and Renew Power for a joint venture for green hydrogen? So recently Indian Oil Corporation has partnered with Larsen & Toubro and Renew Power, and together they will create a joint venture for green hydrogen. Ministry of Corporate Affairs issued the certificate to which of the following farmer producer tea company recently? So recently certificate has been issued to Mahananda Jivika Mahila Agro Business. Okay. Next question. Which country launched the Zhongxing 6D communication satellite? As the name itself says that this country can be only China. So China National Space Administration launched the two missions on the same day of successful landing of its longest astronaut mission yet. So a Long March 3B rocket lifted off carrying the Zhongxing 6D, which is a special communication satellite for radio and television program. So this satellite will provide HD videos, radio and television broadcast services across the South China Sea, Southeast Asia and Pacific Island countries. So a Long March 4C rocket launched a new atmosphere monitoring satellite into its orbit. Okay. Now let's see some of the important satellites that were in news. NROL-85, which was launched recently, is an intelligence satellite of which country? So recently SpaceX has launched a new spy satellite for the US and landed the returning rocket back on Earth. So a two-stage Falcon 9 rocket carrying the NROL-85 spacecraft lifted off, and this was the second landing for this particular booster. And also it marks the 114th overall successful recovery of a first stage booster by the SpaceX. Okay. So correct answer is USA. Which country launched the Earth observation satellite Gaofen 303? Answer is China. Which country has developed RKA, means relativistic klystron amplifier, which can destroy the satellites in space? So this is a kind of amplifier that has been developed by China, and it can totally destroy the satellite into space. Which country successfully launched military satellite called Noor-2 into the orbit? This is Iran. Which country has recently tested reconnaissance satellite system? Answer is North Korea. Which space mission or satellite of ISRO has detected the solar proton events for the very first time? So ISRO has detected these events through Chandrayaan-2 mission. Which country's researchers joined ISRO for developing a satellite for the very first time? So Taiwan has decided to join ISRO, and together they will develop a satellite. Okay. Next question. Stefanos Tsitsipas, who won the Monte Carlo Masters 2022, is a tennis player from which country? So Greek ace tennis player Stefanos became the 6th man in the Open era to defend his title at the Monte Carlo Masters 2022, and he has defeated Alejandro Fokina, and this victory marked his 8th ATP Tour title and his 2nd Masters 1000 title. Currently he is at the rank of world number 5 in the WTA list. Okay. Now let's see some of the important tennis related current affairs. Iga Swiatek, who has become the Women's Tennis Association world number 1, is from which country? So she is from the country Poland. Ashley Barty, who retired from her tennis career recently, is from which country? So she has recently announced her retirement and she belongs to the country Australia. Which tennis player won the Mexican Open title 2022? Answer is Rafael Nadal. From which country he belongs to? Answer is Spain. Who is the first male tennis star to win 21 Grand Slam title? Again answer is Rafael Nadal. Which tennis player won the Melbourne Somerset ATP 250 event title? Again Rafael Nadal. Which Indian tennis star received the Karnataka Rajya Utsav Award by CM V.S. Bomai on 30th of November 2021? This is Rohan Bopanna. Okay, and talking about Australia, to remember that recently it has won ICC Women's World Cup by defeating the country England. Okay. Next question. D. Vishwa, who passed away recently, was an ace player of which game? So 18-year-old top table tennis player from Tamil Nadu, D. Vishwa was killed in road accident while on his way to Shillong to participate in the 83rd Senior National Championship, and he won the Youth Under-19 Boys Single title in the national ranking tournament in January last year and finished as runner-up in the South Zone ranking tournament in December 2021. So this is just very shocking. Okay. Now let's see some of the important personalities that have passed away recently. Jack Higgins, who passed away recently, was associated with which profession? So he was actually a writer. Pandit Lachu Maharaj, who passed away recently, was associated with what? So he was tabla expert. The Lok Sabha passed a bill to merge the 3 municipal corporations of which city into a single entity. So now the 3 municipal corporations of Delhi would be merged to form a single entity. Which senior Congress leader and the former Speaker of Bihar Assembly passed away on 8th of September 2021? Answer is Sadanand Singh. This question is not very relevant actually. Recently, Ganesh Shankar Vidyarthi from Nevada passed away. He was a dash. So he was actually Indian independence activist. Eugene Parker, who passed away recently, was associated with which profession? He was a scientist. Let me tell you few more important names. First is Lata Mangeshkar. Recently, she has passed away, and she has obviously won various type of award. For example, Dada Saheb Phalke, then Bharat Ratna, Padma Bhushan, etc. Secondly, Bappi Lahiri has passed away, and third name is Bengali singer Sandhya Mukherjee, and she is very important because recently in the month of January during the Padma Awards 2022 she was presented the Padma Bhushan, but she refused to accept it. Okay, now you have to tell me the name of 2 other personalities who were awarded the Padma Bhushan award in this year Padma Awards, but they have not accepted it. Do let me know in the comments. Next question. Durban, which has been hit by storms and heavy rains, is a city in which country? So South Africa's eastern region has been hit by more rain after the deadliest storm struck the country, and it has killed nearly 400 people and left tens of thousands homeless. Left thousands of people homeless. So recovery operations and humanitarian relief are underway in the Durban city of 3.5 million people. Okay. Also, the government has announced 1 billion rand, means $68 million in emergency relief funding. Okay. So correct answer is South Africa. Now let's see some of the important cities. The Pradhan Mantri Sangrahalaya Museum is located in which city? It is in New Delhi. Actually, all these questions are repeated, so I think most of your answers should be right. Which Indian city has been recognized as one of the 3 cities of the world in 2022? This is the city of Hyderabad. In which city was India's first steel waste road built? Many a times I have told you, Surat. In which city was the decentralized waste management technology park recently inaugurated? Answer is East Delhi. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, in its recent assessment report, mentioned which Indian city for sustainable transportation? The city is Kolkata. Which city is the host of Khelo India University Games 2021? Answer is Bangalore. And this is the second edition of this game. First edition was held in Odisha, and the mascot of this game is Veera, which is a kind of elephant. Okay. Now let's start with today's quiz. Here on the slide you can see 5 questions which have been taken from the past 2-3 days current affairs. Pause the video and try to solve each of these questions, and at the end of the lecture do not forget to share your scores in the comment section. So please be honest and do not cheat with yourself. So that's it for today. I hope you have liked the session. These were the important news and events from today, and we will meet again tomorrow with some more important current affairs. Till then, stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching, and please do not forget to subscribe to GK Today. With this, me Nuzhat Sana signing off.